good morning, everyone. We're happy that you're here. We're just waiting for some more participants. Please stay on your seats as we will begin shortly. Thank you.
Ang agham at teknolohiya ay daan tungo sa pag-unlad ng bayan.
Susi sa pag-unlad ng ekonomiya, patungo sa magandang kinabukasan ng bawat isa.
Paglikha, paghahanap at aplikasyon ng kaalaman para sa kaunlaran ng pangkalahatang pamumuhay.
Ay sinag ng pag-asa.
Ay importante sa pag-unlad ng ekonomiya ng isang bansa.
Ang game changer para sa new normal.
Ay susi sa kaunlaran.
Ay mapagpabago, napapanahon at tumutugon sa mga pangangailangan ng lipunan at patuloy nitong pag-unlad.
Ay sandigan ng buhay at ang maghahatid ng magandang kinabukasan.
Ay tulay at lakas tungo sa kaunlaran ng ating ekonomiya.
Susi sa kaunlaran. Ang siyang mangunguna sa pag-unlad ng Rehiyon 1.
Ay susi sa pag-unlad ng Mindanao.
Ay sandigan sa pag-unlad ng ating bansa.
Ay para mabago at umusbong ang buhay ng mga seaweed farmers.
Para sa mga pamilya na nakatira sa mga pamayanan na jida at walang kuryente.
Ay para rin sa pag-create ng mga livelihood para sa mga small farmers natin and IT communities.
Para sa ating mga kapatid na lumad dito sa Davao Region.
Ang agham at teknolohiya ay para sa bayan.
Ang agham at teknolohiya ay para sa pagbabago at pag-unlad ng bawat Pilipino.
We are the Philippine Council for Industry, Energy, and Emerging Technology Research and Development, or PSERD, one of the sectoral councils under the Department of Science and Technology. We are all about innovation and progress. We lead and partner with public and private institutions in generating science and technology policies, strategies, and technologies that spur national economic development. We formulate policies and strategies for scientific and technological directions. We fund and support R&D efforts in the industry, energy, and emerging technology sectors. We provide opportunities that enrich human resources and facilitate the development of institutions. We move technology forward through adoption, transfer, and commercialization of available technologies. We ensure timely and effective delivery of research results. The Council encompasses sectors under these priority areas. And all of these are backed by a highly skilled and science technology workforce for quality technologies and innovations. We are driven in bringing homegrown science and technology to the fore of the competitive global arena, creating impact on the country's progress and improving the quality of life of every Filipino. We uplift lives through innovations. PSERD. We are the Innovation Council for Industry, Energy, and Emerging Technologies.
Good morning, everyone. Out of the 3,400 participants that we have right now, we did have a registration of about 4,700 plus. But we are glad to see you here. And we greet you, magandang umaga. Good morning to everyone. We hope that you are safe and sound. With this as well, let's start the program by having our prayer. So I will just share my screen. Thank you for that. Once we end the prayer, please all rise for the Philippine National Anthem.
Ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang mag-ibig, pero sa sinakalan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo ay hinatang tula, tawid sa paglayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nagtitinig. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magtitinig. Luman ang araw ng walang pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang hindi kaya na pagkay mga amin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
So, good morning, everyone. We hope you had a good morning. We welcome you to Elsevier and DOST's partnership webinar. So, before we start the webinar, I would like to share with you some guidelines and the program that we have. So, for the webinar guidelines, it's a webinar. So, we hope that you have your energy right now filled with so much learning that what you will be having for today. These are some of the webinar guidelines for you, for the host, for the panelists, and also for the attendees. So we hope that specifically in the Q&A, you can put your Q&A or questions in the Q&A box provided in the Zoom meeting. Also, I know all of you would be asking, do we have a copy of the presentation? May we have the copy of the presentation or even the recording of the Zoom? And also, very important, your certificates for attending this program. Please stay until the end of the webinar because we will be explaining to you how you will get your certificate and the copy of what you will be seeing today and what you will be learning today. So for today, our program, we start at 10. I know we started a little bit late simply because of the massive participants that we have. And also, after that, we will have the opening remarks, the webinar proper, and also some questions and some question and answer program. We would like to acknowledge everyone from the 3,600 participants that we have right now. We cannot name each and every one of you, but we are very glad and we thank you for giving us your time this morning. So without further ado, I would like to go to the next part of the program, which is the opening remarks. So with the opening remarks, we are very glad that the DOST Shared Executive Director, which is Dr. Enrico C. Peringit, would be lighting us in opening the webinar that we have today in the best practices in writing and publishing your research paper. So without further ado, I would like to call on Dr. Enrico C. Peringit, the DOST Shared Executive Director. Sir Peringit, please, you have the floor.
Can you turn on can you allow me to share my screen? If not, I'll just deliver my opening remarks then. But anyhow, good morning to everyone. It's nice to see an overwhelming interest in the webinar that we have right now. In fact, it's going to go down in our records as being one of the highest attendance rates. We're now here for our workshop on best practices in writing and publishing your research papers. I believe this could have been delivered right at your doorstep or right at the comfort of your own universities, but because of course of the pandemic, we are not able to do so. This is the the go-to technology for which we are seeing as a viable option for still delivering what we need to do, which is getting the message across that there are ways and means on how we could best ramp up our productivity, our scientific productivity by means of coming up with our publications, and Elsevier is here to help us along the way. But first, of course, on behalf of DOST, Philippine Council for Industry, Energy, and Emerging Technologies Research and Development, or PSHERD, I welcome all of you to this author workshop. Of course, ably handled by Elsevier that will highlight and impart the best practices and in writing and publishing your research papers. We recognize the over 4,000 individuals who have registered, and then I think some are still queuing in for this event. And we'd like to, of course, thank our higher educational institutions, the DOST regional offices, the different national government agencies, and the DOST agencies who are attending today's webinar. Thank you for participating, and we appreciate your willingness to expand your knowledge and improve your skills when it comes to writing and publishing more research papers. We would also like to commend and appreciate today's resource speaker, Mr. Joan Zhang, the Elsevier Southeast Asia Customer Consultant, for spending time with us today to share his expertise. This webinar, as I mentioned previously, is one of our joint activities, in partnership, of course, with Elsevier to boost our country's scientific productivity. We wanted to ensure that more Filipino researchers are well-informed and brimming with new ideas. We have recently renewed our subscription to Elsevier's peer-reviewed journals with the goal of further strengthening the Philippines' research and development capabilities by way of access to reputable scientific journals. This enabled the three sectoral planning councils, of course, us at PSHERD, the Philippine Council for Health Research and Development, and the Philippine Council for Agriculture and Natural Resource Research and Development, and 7 research and development institutions of DOST, 6 Science and Technology Service Institutes of DOST to continue accessing Science Direct, which is Elsevier's leading platform for peer-reviewed scholarly literature. So with this subscription, researchers now have access to 16 million publications from over 2,600 journals published by Elsevier and its society partners. Additionally, this also entails subscription to Elsevier's database Scopus. Scopus is the world's largest abstract and citation database of peer-reviewed literature, which provides funders, researchers, and research leaders in the Philippines an overview of the world's research output with smart tools to support the tracking, analysis, and visualization of the global research landscape. Even for universities wanting to keep track of its research productivity, you can use actually the Scopus Index, to track down your researchers' productivity, your units' research outputs, and the university as a whole. At present, the researchers who are going to benefit from this subscription are coming in from 35 DOST-affiliated agencies, project leaders of DOST in its council-funded research projects, including higher educational institutions. So that's why we have now in this workshop, faculty members, full-time researchers, students, coming in from higher educational institutions in the regions that previously did not have access to scientific journals and articles. There are also 172 various higher educational institutions and RDIs, together with the DOST regional offices nationwide, that utilize the journal articles acquired through Elsevier. I'm sure our attendees today are already given access privileges. All you have to do now is go to the site and download the articles that you will need to support your research. And you just not need it when you start writing your articles. You will need it when you prepare your proposal for your research projects, when you start writing your literature review, and then when you start developing your own methods. You also have to refer to what's already been done, what's out there, what are the possibilities, what are the novel approaches and methods and techniques that you could use These are all available. These are all thoroughly described, authoritative, and reliable when you look at the Elsevier publications. If we are to increase our scientific productivity, we need to recognize the importance of putting at the center the needs of our researchers first and foremost. At the UST, we believe that if we focus on helping researchers share their best work with more people, everyone actually benefits. But we also recognize that the new normal has shown that there's still plenty of ways to make publishing work better for everyone and not just for researchers. Trust that we at the UST PSHERD will continue to provide everyone that's needing access to scientific information be provided with this privilege, especially to our country, as it gives barrier-free access to various literature that Filipino researchers need for their own research projects. Mind you, you can even use these articles actually to teach. Of course, textbooks are great. But textbooks were written 20 years ago, 10 years ago. If you want to update, if you want to teach contemporary topics, finding review articles coming in from scientific journals are also a way to go. It allows teachers to bring current research into the classroom. It addresses the problems of rising costs, also of journal subscriptions, So instead of individual universities subscribing to their own journal subscriptions, Elsevier have been very generous in making sure that everyone has access. And for Filipino research papers published in Science Direct and Scopus, it also allows, of course, taxpayers to see the results of research that they help fund. Know that the UST PSHERD will be relentless in providing more innovations, services, and programs that will enrich the country's scientific, science and technology community by supporting R&D endeavors that will spur the creation of more advanced technology in the Philippines, building legacies and make innovation work for the people. Providing access to reliable to scientific information and publications is a way, is a step, is a big step towards that goal. Once you are equipped with more knowledge and confidence to write your own research paper, submit it to us and let's establish a partnership. Whether you're writing a proposal, you're writing a research paper, you're implementing projects, we will be with you along the way. In fact, we will be open to receiving research proposals on our priority areas starting May 3. And that will be until June 3, midnight of June 3, 2021. So please submit your proposals on time, on the dot. You may visit our website and social media accounts to learn more about our call for proposals, which will be funded come 2023. Remember that proposals are now submitted online and digitally through the DOST Project Management Information System. Meanwhile, have a blast in receiving tips on how to prepare your research publications and even your research proposals. So please enjoy this workshop. Again, thank you very much for coming, and I hope to encounter each one of your wonderful ideas and proposals and projects when we start engaging with you. Thank you very much again, and good morning.
Thank you for that, Sir Eric. Very timely po pala yung webinar natin today, which is best practices in writing and publishing your research paper, because you have an open proposal submission this coming months. So thank you for that. We really appreciate it coming from Elsevier as well, and coming, I think, from all the participants that will be learning today on the best practices on how you get your articles and your writing into the international stage. And we appreciate the help and support of DOST PSHERD in all of that. So again, before we go to the webinar itself, get some reminders for everyone. Well, number one, if you are looking at your audio, you can't hear anything, please re-log in to this specific webinar. Sometimes Zoom does have to re-log in before you can try to get access with the audio if there's any issues that you come across. Number two, there will be a survey link at the end of the webinar. We will be showing you how to get that survey link. And once you've answered that survey link, we will have you get your certificate online as well. You will get, each and everyone who attends this certificate will be on. We will be giving you certificates for this webinar. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our speaker for today for the best practices in writing and publishing your research paper. Johan Jiang is the customer consultant for Elsevier Southeast Asia. So Johan, if you want to take the floor, please do.
Okay, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, thank you so much for joining this event. Yeah, thank you so much for DOST also to have us, Elsevier, here to present and to share. Yeah, hopefully I can share my knowledge to everyone. We have, I think right now, almost 4,000 participants. Wow, this is amazing. Yeah, so hopefully from this session, the aim will be accomplished. Yeah, everybody will have new insights, new knowledge, and hopefully can develop your skills, yeah, especially in writing and publishing your next research paper. Yeah. Okay, so just a quick introduction of myself. Yeah, my name is Johan Jiang, and I'm customer consultant for Elsevier Southeast Asia. And I'm joining you from my home because I believe that also most of you also join from the comfort of your home. Yeah, so even though we are in this pandemic situation, the spirit, the passion to write more, to produce high quality research articles should still be within us. And I really hope that from this webinar, we can see more and also higher quality research paper from all of you. Yeah, we have faculty members joining us from various universities. We have students, yeah. So hopefully this will be beneficial for both. Yep. Okay, so let me start by sharing my screen. Okay. So hopefully you are able to share, see my screen now. Yeah. Okay. So best practices in writing and publishing your research paper. I will be presented, and there will be one of my partners in Elsevier, Priyanka, will also be presented one part in this session. Yeah, so let's just go into the session then. Yeah. Okay, we start first by introducing Elsevier because maybe some of you already know what is Elsevier, but maybe some of you not really familiar with us. Yeah, so let me quickly introduce our institution. Yeah. Okay. So Elsevier is actually a very senior, I don't want to use the word old, but it's a very senior organization because we already start the organizations back in the 1580. So imagine that will be hundreds of years ago in the University of Leiden in Holland, yeah, in the Netherlands. And then we become modern company, a much more established company in the 1880s, so 300 years later. Yes, that was a very long time ago. The first, when we start this company, the company start as a publishing company. Yeah, so we publish works from various famous writers. Yeah, for instance, like Galileo, Erasmus, Descartes, Alexander Fleming, Julius Verne, and so many others. Yeah, so we publish their works, and because of that, we are known as publisher. Yeah, for scholarly work. Yeah, for research articles. So we publish these journals. Now, besides publishing journals, the modern Elsevier then developed not just as a publisher, but we are now more than that. We position ourselves now as a global information analytics company specializing in science and also in health. Yeah, and to do this, we help institutions, and also professionals in corporates, in private corporations to progress science, to advance healthcare, and also to improve performance. Yeah, we believe that with the combinations of technology that we have, with operational efficiency, we can turn informations into actionable knowledge with one single reason, is to help solve challenges for the benefit of humanity. Yeah, so that's how our positions of the modern Elsevier. Okay, so to do this, we have our mission is to lead the way in science, technology, and health with various solutions. So we do provide all of these solutions to help researchers, to help clinicians, to help governmental organizations, in research and development, clinical research platforms, research intelligence, educations, and these are the solutions that you might already familiar, including Science Direct. This is for you, for our premium research database. We have Scopus, we have Scifal, we have Clinical Key, we have Mendeley. These are some of our solutions that can help researchers, that can help stakeholders in research community worldwide. Okay, so this is just an example that Elsevier is one of the we can say the most trusted publishers and company for to help researchers. This is an example that published in the 1998, so quite some time ago. One of prominent article published. It's called, the title is The Anatomy of a Large-Scale Hypertextual Web Search Engine, published by Elsevier, and the authors, Sergey Brin and Lawrence Page. So these two names might be quite familiar for many of you, because Sergey Brin and Lawrence Page, they are the founder and co-founders of Google. So before Google becomes such a huge company right now, they published their article. This is about an experiment that they created in Stanford, and the experiment was about Google. So even we can see, they trust Elsevier, and we can also see that as back then, they also trust peer-reviewed scientific articles to be value for their experiment. And we can see right now their experiment turns into such a huge innovation that helps solve various challenges for humanity. So really proud of this, and there's so many others examples that I cannot show you one by one, but there's so many examples that your research articles from all around the world, they can add values for the benefits of humanity in so many areas. Okay, so that's just a quick introductions of Elsevier. Now let's go into the session itself. So with our session, I have these three main agenda, and then of course the last one will be the Q&A. So the first one, we are going to go a bit into open science, because right now this is such a trend, and understanding how open science works, this trend will equip us with a new knowledge that this is the world of science that we are living right now. It's called open science, and how they influence, and also impacting journals publication. This particular part will be explained by Priyanka. And then after that, after we understand how the world, the scientific world that we are living in right now, we are going to go into the best practices for writing and also for publishing your research paper in an open science environment. And last but not least, of course, we will have question and answer. And for Q&A, please do put your questions into the Q&A box. So please do not use chat box, because there are so many people in the chat box right now, which is fine. Thank you. But for any question and for any questions, please put that into the Q&A. Okay, so let's start with the first topic, open science trends. The reason why, again, because we need to understand the science, the world that we are living in right now. What are the trends? And then how later on this can actually impact when we write and we publish our research manuscript. And for that, I will give the floor to Priyanka to start this talk about open science trends, and how they influence and impact journals. Okay, so let me stop sharing, and Priyanka, over to you.
Yes, hi. Morning, everyone. Yeah, it's been an amazing morning. Honestly, I've never witnessed this overwhelming participation. So it really feels great. And even though it's a virtual platform, I still feel the nervousness of presenting to a huge audience. So without much ado, actually, I tried to share screen, Johan. Okay, I can share screen now. Okay, great. So please bear with me as I open my presentation. So Johan will be actually help me to monitor the time so that I remain restricted within the specific time, respecting all of your participation and your time as well. So once again, welcome everyone. We are today talking about open science trends and how they influence the impact of your journal. And I believe this topic is in relation with the theme of the workshop that the seminar that today we are organizing. The agenda is open science, improving global access to knowledge, the impact of open science, what are the outcomes and benefits, and how does open science elevate journals' visibility. And I think all of you who are into research would appreciate that publishing in journals and bringing more visibility to journal is the key essence to bringing your research to a wider audience. We'll first talk about open science, improving global access to knowledge. Now, whenever we talk about open science, what does it mean? What are the key pillars which are holding the concept of open science for all of us? It could be open access, open data, open metrics, research integrity and reproducibility, science and society. Now, in part, we have probably heard of a couple of these pillars and we have been practicing. So, for example, open access has been there for a long time and we all know when articles are open access, everybody can access them. Open data has become the key essence, and a lot of research environments are now actually propagating the idea of open data, sharing the data, making it available, making it reproducible. Open metrics are, it's not just enough to publish your articles, making it easily available. As an editor of the journal, as an author of the article, you would also need to have access to metrics to enable you to understand what is the impact that your journal or your article is creating. Research integrity and reproducibility, this is connected with open data as well, where it's not just enough to know what you're doing and to make it available, but also to make the data available in such an informed way that if even you want to reproduce it, you will be able to do it with the same research integrity that the first research was published. Open science and open society are how we as together collaborate and make this whole concept of open science available for each and every one of us. Now, what is impacting open science? What are the factors? We know that first that comes to our mind is technology. There's been a huge shift in technology, and I think today we are witnessing that ourselves when we are presenting, we are collaborating in this virtual environment, and we have such strong connection and such structured way of presenting the whole concept. So when it comes to technology, whether it is web, whether it is social media, whether it is big data, all of this is enabling us to make the whole concept of open science really tangible, make it available and make it usable for each one of us. Also, there are government policies. A lot of institutions, a lot of government organizations are promoting the concept of open data. They are creating mandates around open data. They are creating mandates around journals being open so that information is being open, so more and more people are able to access it. And third is the whole idea and the whole the whole value around transparency, the desire for transparency, reliability in research results. These three are some of the most core element which are actually promoting and helping us to talk or bring the idea of open science for all of us to discuss. Now, when we talk about journals, we know that commercial and publishers, commercial publishings, journals are only a fraction of scholarly publications. We are not only living in a world where there are commercials and big publishers, but there are so many other small publishers, regional journals which are coming up. There are niche journals that we're talking about, journals in arts and humanities, journals with applied and general audiences, journals in the niche and emerging fields. Now, these journals also needs to be open. These journal also needs to have access to a platform which can bring more visibility. Because regional journals, the biggest disadvantage of regional journals are that they are facing, or the struggle and the challenge that they are facing, is that regional journals are not able to reach to a wider audience. You're not able to move beyond the region where your journal is published. And when authors write or publish in these regional journals, they are also not getting the right number of citations, they are not getting the right references, because the network is smaller. So most important concept that we need to address today, or the challenge, is how do you make your journals more visible, more accessible for a wider pool of people? Now, with this idea, I would like to bring forward to you a solution which is known as Digital Commons. It's a solution which is brought to you from Elsevier. Digital Commons is a cloud-hosted platform which enables you to publish openly, manage your journals, manage the whole editorial process, the whole workflow, and at the same time give access to metrics to enable you to measure the impact of your journal, help you to bring more visibility for your journals, create professionally visible journals, which in turn brings you closer to getting your journal indexed in ANI databases like Scopus, Web of Science, PubMed, and so on. Now, when we talk about these platforms, what is very important is to understand what are the key factors which are driving a journal success. Now, most important is how do you make your journal professionally more visible? How do you make your journal presentable in a professional way? Increase the visibility of your journal. When you talk to your authors, editors, and reviewers, you need to provide them with a platform which is easy to use, which is intuitive, and at the same time, it is not very difficult and complicated. You also need to have access to the best practices, which will provide you with the right expert guidance so that you understand that globally, how are the other regional journals performing? How are they impacting the success of the author or the success of the journal? And lastly, very important, is that you need to have a platform which is scalable. Today you are publishing one journal. Tomorrow you might want to grow that publishing initiative from 1 to 1,000 journals. And the platform should be able to manage that, should be able to support you in that initiative that you would like to take. Now, with all these core elements, which are which actually provides the right support in making regional journals more visible, let me share with you some of the use cases of how, Digital Commons actually enabled journals to bring more visibility. Now, before we go into those use cases, a very quick check on the facts. So Digital Commons hosts more than 2,300 journals, and these journals are coming from more than 600 institutions globally. Now, 97% of these journals are open access journals. There are more than 4 million open access articles. There are 1,700 conference proceedings, and there are 1,400 plus books which are hosted and managed by Digital Commons platform. Now, all these content are aggregated in a network known as Digital Commons Network. If you Google it, you will be able to access that network, which will provide you with access to all these open access content. Tomorrow, when you host your journal on Digital Commons platform, your journal will also be part of that network, which means that right from the very start, you already have an assured network of authors, network of readers who are going to access the content that you're publishing. Now, in terms of deep diving into Digital Commons content, as I told you, 97% of the journals are open access. The platform is content agnostic. It doesn't matter what subject field your journal belongs to. The platform has proven experience of hosting and managing journals across all different subject disciplines. Now, other than the subject, it's also the types of the journals. Digital Commons is suitable not just for research journals, but we also host student journals, archivals, newsletters, and law review papers as well. So even there are a lot of STEM journals which are hosted on Digital Commons platform. A lot of these journals which are hosted on the Digital Commons platform are also indexed in Scopus, PubMed, DOAJ, Web of Science, and other regional ANI databases. I have been only able to capture a couple of them here on this slide, but there are many more to these databases which are indexing Digital Commons hosted journals. With that introduction, let me now talk about the outcomes and benefits of the impact of open science. Let's look at some of the impacts here. Now we'll talk about some open science success stories, how open science initiatives have created real world impact. Now this is an example of Journal of Patient-Centered Research and Reviews. This is a journal which is hosted by Aurora Healthcare. Now this journal and Aurora Healthcare uses Digital Commons platform to manage the journal. Aurora Healthcare, if you don't know, it's a healthcare system provider in US. They started and published an open access journal, which is Journal of Patient-Centered Research and Reviews. This journal is also indexed in Scopus today. They published an article in 2016 about Elizabethingia, which is a bacterial outbreak crisis that caused more than 20 deaths in US. So this journal, which is hosted on Digital Commons platform, was launched by Aurora Healthcare. In that journal, in the 2016 issue, they published this paper. Now what happened? Because it is on Digital Commons platform, it is openly available and you have a wider audience accessing the content, this article has received more than 600 downloads and nearly 5 times more than the average article in the journal receives. Many readers of this journal article were located in the region of the outbreak itself, providing them with the timely relevant access to important health information. Other readers included health and disease policymakers, the US Center for Disease Control and Kaiser Foundation Health Plan. Because this journal was hosted in Digital Commons platform, it had critical societal impact. Now, Digital Commons platform comes integrated with Plumex metric, as well as it provides editors with a dashboard to give a deeper insight into the readership of the article. This allows you to understand who is accessing your article, who is reading your article, how many times they have downloaded, and you also get access to citation information from the platform. Now, another example about open data. Now, this is a very important, this is something which is my own favorite. This was actually a thesis which was written by a research scholar from Yale University. His name was Thomas Crowther. He wrote, the original paper was published in Nature, but he had accumulated 420,000 data points. And so what he did, he used Digital Commons to actually host those data points. Now, an article associated with the research and data was actually published in Nature, and the full data set was available in Yale University's Digital Commons platform. Because it was open access, everybody was able to access it. This data set was downloaded more than 900 times. And further deeper insight into the readership found that these data was accessed by major international media and publishing companies. You get this information about who read the article or who read the data or the particular collection type, because every collection type in Digital Commons comes integrated with Plumex tool. Now, Plumex gives you details around the traditional metric, which is citation, but it also gives you insight into the non-traditional metrics like news media captures, blog mentions, social media mentions. And when you deeper dive, you get the names of the people, the organizations, the news media houses who are tweeting, who are accessing, or who are referring to your article. Now, because the data was hosted on the IR, it was being accessed globally by so many other agencies. And what did that do to the original article? Because of this access to the data points being openly available, this also influenced and impacted the citation of his original article, which was published in Nature. Now, this is about open research. This is from the college at Brockport State University of New York. In New York, Department of Environmental Conservation draws on research from college at Brockport and Joseph Makarukit's student research to develop their watershed policy. Now, this professor, he published a paper, which he then, with his students, he did a lot of research on watershed policies, and he hosted and published all his research work into the institution's Digital Commons portal. Now, because once again, this was openly available, everybody was able to access. It's also, it led to a number of countries coming forward to the institution and suggesting that they may be willing to fund some of the research and scholarship work in these areas that the professor was investing in. Today, the professor is continuing to do the same research, and he has grants available from various organizations and funding bodies globally. This is also very interesting and something that a lot of us will be able to relate. This is a student from Claremont Mokena College. She published her thesis paper, which in her senior thesis paper, and she published it on the platform itself, which is the Digital Commons platform, which the college was accessing to. Now, this particular paper thesis that she wrote, it was about the topic, "Why Don't I Look Like Her?" which is the impact of social media on female body image. Now, this was a simple thesis paper that she had written, and it was available in the college repository, which is a Digital Commons platform once again. This was cited by LA Magazine, and now it has been downloaded more than 200,000 times by readers in 193 countries. It was also picked up by famous magazines like Cosmopolitan and the Washington Post, bringing additional visibility to the work. This particular student, Kendall, also noticed that 3 different state departments of education shown up as frequent readers of this particular content. This author of the paper then went on to actually do her research in this particular topic, understanding the impact that her research or thesis article created. The openness of the article gave her a direction in terms of how she wanted to progress in her research career. With all these data available at Digital Commons, we also did a lot of research across all the content which are hosted and published on Digital Commons platform. And doing all these analysis helped us to create a table in terms of determining what are the open access concepts around readers, what are open access concepts around authors, and what are open access concepts around institutions. And what does the impact that open access does to all these 3 stakeholders, the readers, the authors, and institutions. So it is clearly mentioned here that for readers, it affects, advancement in innovation. It helps them to connect in cultures, update practitioners, improve prospective applicants. For the authors, you will be able to create a public impact. You will be able to find collaborators. You will also be able to improve quality and scope of the work that you're producing. For institutions, it brings more visibility. It creates a brand name for the institutions. It creates a professional standing for the institutions, not just in the region, but across. It also helps in recruiting newer students, recruiting better faculty, better academic staff, and also developing alumni connections. So the original paper which was done, which captures the research and all the insights around the research, is also available. If you would be interested to read, you could connect with us and we can share with you the link of the original paper to see the research around these areas. Now, in terms of Digital Commons platform, a very quick look at, how does the platform looks like, some of the key elements in terms of the metrics that we show. So on Digital Commons, you get to see this kind of real-time readership maps, which helps you to understand at real time who is reading the content and where the reader belongs to. You also have access to a dashboard which gives you deeper insight into the readership. It tells you what type of organization is reading your content, what are the names of those organizations, which are the articles that they are reading, and how many times have they downloaded those articles. And at the article level, you get to see the number of downloads. You also get to have access to the Plumex metric, which gives you details around citation, blog media mentions, social media mentions, and so on. The citation information which comes into the Plumex is coming from Scopus, PubMed Central, and Crossref. This is another example of how, because of these dashboard, the insight into the dashboard that is available for authors, the editors to access, it gives you more information about the impact of your article. So this is from Chapman University. Art history and archaeology professor Justin Walsh, he discovered that his work was cited in a major new outlet through the use of open metrics in this Digital Commons author dashboard. And it was referred by Los Angeles Times. And he discovered it only because of his access to the dashboard. He was able to know that his article was being referred by Los Angeles Times for him to actually enable them to connect and then create more collaborative opportunities through these open metric, which was available for him because of the platform to access the impact of the article that he published was creating globally across all the readers. With this, we come to the third and the last point of my presentation, which is how does Open Science elevate journals' visibility? Now, for creating visibility of a journal, couple of things that is very important is to understand that you need to create a professionally looking and having a professional branding and design for your journal. You need to have professional publishing, which means regularity of your publishing. You need to have a workflow which is robust, which also provides a one-stop shop for all journal editing work. Your platform needs to have industry-leading search engine optimization and Google indexing, web discoverability tools, which enables higher visibility and referrals coming from Google and Google Scholar. And of course, the scalability and the hosted portion of the platform is important. With Digital Commons, we touch upon and provide you with the best service across all of these criteria which are mentioned here. Now, discoverability on open web is very important because 72% of the scholars, they start their search by looking at Google. And that's why it's very important that the search engine optimization and web discoverability of your platform is at a very high industry leading standard. Now, a quick example is that when you host a journal on Digital Commons platform, how over the period of time, the traffic which is coming into the journal content from Google and Google Scholar is increasing because of the work that we do behind in terms of providing you with the best algorithm to support the search engine optimization and web discoverability service. A quick example, we looked at, this is a journal on numeracy, which is being published and hosted on Digital Commons platform. When you do a Google search, this journal actually comes on top of the search, and it actually comes before Springer, in terms of its indexing and in terms of its ranking in the Google rank. We can do these kind of searches and show you more examples with a lot of other journals which are hosted on Digital Commons platform as well. Now, these things that we do, it is not done automatically. There is a team of people who is constantly working, and these are all the technical terms which have been defined here in terms of how we support to make sure that when you host your journal or manage your journal on Digital Commons platform, the visibility of the journal goes up. So there's a lot of stuff that we do, a lot of stuff on the platform that we facilitate, and a lot of stuff that we advise you to take care of so that you can provide your journal with the right visibility. A quick fact check. So when we do some analysis on journals which are hosted on our platform to see how these journals are behaving, how have they created, significantly the visibility has impacted. So with our research, we found out that, on an average, there are 250K plus total downloads over 5-year period. So when you start from year 1 to year 5, the download increases. There's a 12% increase per year in terms of annual download for journals which are hosted on Digital Commons platform. In terms of the article level download, so there's a 10% plus annual growth in downloads per article from year 2 to year 5. These are all analysis done on journals which are hosted on Digital Commons platform. We also have a lot of journals which come to us even after they have got indexed in Scopus. They want to us because they want to maintain the right level of citation for their journal, because that to remain continuously indexed in Scopus, the journal needs to be a well-performing journal and needs to have a certain standard in terms of its citation behavior. So we have a lot of journals which are already indexed in Scopus, but yet they move from their existing platform to our platform. And one of the reasons that they move, we wanted to find out that once they move into our platform, how has their citation improved? With our research, we have found out that Digital Commons, when they migrate to Digital Commons platform, the citation increases more than double for their average annual citation growth. So, if it was 4% initially, the citation growth annually becomes 9% for journals which are migrating to Digital Commons platform. Now, with all of these, it's also very important to understand that with our platform, how are we able to manage, or how are we able to abide by all the criteria which are being laid out by Scopus Content Selection Advisory Board in terms of assessing the journal. So when you look at our platform, we have been able to facilitate most of the criteria which are highlighted by Scopus and other ANI databases for assessing the journals before getting the journal indexed in Scopus. So in terms of the technical criteria, criteria, the platform is designed in such a way that it is optimized to actually comply with most of the criteria that is being highlighted by Scopus or other ANI databases. So today we have 600 institutions who use Digital Commons platform. Some of the names are here. I would also like to mention that we have a very strong presence in Philippines. We have many institutions, close to 5 institutions today who are using Digital Commons platform to showcase the full scope of the research that the institution is doing. If you would like to know more about it, please write to us. We'll be very happy to share their institutional repository link, which is openly available for you to further explore and find more information. With that, I come to the end of my presentation, and I hope I was able to, keep up with the time. So thank you so much for patiently hearing me out. I have left you with my email address for you to freely interact with me, ask me any questions that you might have in relation to this presentation. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Priyanka, for explaining what's the trend right now for open science. And there's so many trends already explained, including how we as researchers need to understand how it works, and also selecting journals. And you can also see journals hosted by Digital Commons. They, as Priyanka explains, do have more visibilities and can actually increase the chances of you to, let's say, getting more citations, getting more notice. So this is something that, of course, we endorse in Elsevier. Okay, so thank you so much, Priyanka, for your explanations. We are going to continue our session. So let me reshare my screen.
I'm just waiting for that I hope you are able to share.
Okay.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Priyanka. And for every participant, please keep your questions coming in the Q&A. We now have 34, and actually more. There are some questions I already answered. So let's continue. We are moving to the next agenda in our session. And for this agenda, we are going to see how the best practices for writing your research paper. And after that, after I finish with this part, we are going to see best practices in publishing your research paper in an open science environment. So let's start first with the writing for research paper. So every time you want to write any research paper, of course, we need to start with our idea. So whatever research project, whatever research paper, of course, we need to start with the starting with the idea. With the idea generation part, of course, we can look from so many sources that can trigger us to have idea for the next research project. But what I want to share with you is that you can actually use both ebook and also ebook or printed book, and also research paper to start finding your next idea. So your ebook or your printed book and research articles can actually be a very valuable source that many don't really put attention to. When we read ebook, when we read research articles, there are actually a lot of sources, a lot of sentences, paragraphs that we can use to trigger idea for the next research paper that we are going to write. Now, what's the difference between looking or searching, exploring from book content and article content? Now, for book content is well known to provide us with a breadth of connecting disciplines. When we read book or ebook, textbook, it actually facilitates new path for investigation. It is more comprehensive. It can also be as a learning tool for us. It provides us with a wide angle, and it actually can provide us with new topic, or we can actually recap old areas. Reading an older books can actually give us idea about old areas that right now we see in our context can actually be modified, can actually change, and so on. So that's what we can get when we are reading book content. The ideas would be quite wide, but it's a foundational idea to build our research project. Next, we also have article. For research article, when we read research article, what will happen is that we will get depth, depth in growing disciplines. It's more specialized knowledge, more narrow in focus, extreme depth, we will find latest research or new results, and we can also see applying techniques, or the methods in which the previous researchers conducted his or her research. Now, ebook content is a critical complement to journal content. Both will be very useful for us to, when we read, we will discover either a foundational idea from book and also in-depth ideas from research article. So that's our first recommendation when we read, when we want to find idea for our next research project. Now, this is a breakdown of ebook and also journals. So for books, we have serials, ebooks, textbook, and also major reference works. And for journal, we have journal articles and journal review articles. Now, based on this, we can see that books give us the foundation. Meanwhile, journal give us the latest advances in our field. So start with that first. Start by reading the books, and then after that, we can go and read more journal articles to see what's currently happening with the idea in which we are going to do research upon. Okay. In Science Direct, this is we do have some. Of course, it's well known for us to find research articles and also to find books. But besides that, we can also there's also a feature in Science Direct called Topic Page, in which you can find the definitions and then some foundational knowledge that you can build upon based on your research idea. So let's say I want to conduct a research. I have an idea that I want to conduct a research with a topic of planning organization. But I am not really sure about this topic yet. I need to know more about it. Of course, I can read lots of books about planning organization. I can read journal articles as well. That will be our recommendation. But even before that, there is a possibility for you to open this link right here. So it's sciencedirect.com/topics, and then type in your topic. Type in your idea. So I'll type, like in this case, planning organization. And then what will happen is Science Direct will show you a specific page dedicated for that particular idea, for that particular topic. So when I want to do research regarding planning organizations, I can read from here, and this is going to equip me with a very good knowledge on this particular topic. So feel free to use this one. Treat this like your Wikipedia. But if Wikipedia can be edited by anyone, so the reliability of the content is still questionable. For this one, it's peer-reviewed books and also articles. So of course, the reliability is not to be questioned anymore. So feel free to use this one. You have access to this. This is for free. Just go to sciencedirect.com/topics, type in, and then you will find foundational knowledge for your research paper. Okay, now continuing, after you have that idea, you do understand the foundational knowledge for your next research paper. Of course, the next thing we need to do is to write. It's to start writing your paper. Now, this is an article structure, common article structure that you can find in any research articles. So it starts with a title and then abstract, keywords, and then we have the IMRID, which stands for introduction part, methods, result, and discussion part. After that, we also have conclusion, acknowledgement, reference, and supplementary data. Now, I'll cover each of these parts as the best practices to write the next paper. But before that, some important points to remember on the right side. Some journals, they might have slightly different article structure. So please take this into consideration. So on the left side, of course, this is the common structure, but please take a look at the journal in which you want to submit. Take a look at their article structure. Sometimes they could have a slightly different structure. So we need to follow that structures given by the journal. Second point, depending on your subject areas, there could be modification based on the common writing structure in the area. For instance, if let's say your subject area or your field usually you will have to conduct experiment. Maybe then the methods part will change into experiment, or it can be methods and experiment. So based on that, do acknowledge that, and do base your writing on the common writing structure in your subject field. The third point, take serious consideration for supplementary data, because some editors and reviewers also take data seriously. So this last part over here after references, most writers, they forgot to put attention to this, but this is actually critical, especially for high quality journals. They will want you to provide supplementary data. And what's that? We'll cover that a bit later. So let's start to discover, to explore each of this. So the first one, of course, is the title. With the title of your research paper, there are some pointers over here. The first one is your title should be interesting, concise, and informative. We want it because when we see that we don't judge book by its cover, but for research articles, there are a lot of whether your article is being read or not, one of them is also contributed by the title. So it needs to be accurate, and it gives potential readers an opportunity to quickly judge your paper. Now, what sort of title should I create? Now, the 4 points, you can see some journals, they do encourage what we call as declarative titles. However, descriptive titles usually still remain as the norm. So take a look at the journals and see how the journal positioned, how the article title is supposed to be. So some will still be okay with declarative, but mostly will be using descriptive titles. So what are these declarative and descriptive over here? You can see an example. For declarative title, this is an example. Digital economy in Southeast Asia is the key economic recovery solution post-COVID-19. So there is a declaration that your article will cover digital economy in Southeast Asia, and there is a declaration that this will be the key for post-COVID-19 economy recovery. That is an example of we as the author declare that our research articles will show you something as a very strong, as a firm conclusion. Meanwhile, we also have descriptive title. The descriptive title, this is an example, integrating digital economy practices in Southeast Asia post-COVID-19. So there is no declaration. You don't say that, please read my journals because it will give you like a solution or very strong or very firm conclusion, but you're just describing what's the content of your research article is going to be. Your research article in this case is going to talk about how digital economic practice in Southeast Asia post-COVID-19, and that's it. So there's no declarative statement. So this is more common for research articles. Just pay attention whether you can use descriptive or whether you can use declarative, or you should go with descriptive. Now, you need to delete trivial phrases, so you don't have to put some of these phrases, for instance, like notes on, a study of, an analysis of. The reason why is that every single research paper published, of course, it will be a study of something or an analysis of something. So take away all of this unnecessary trivial phrases. And then titles with that end with question mark, they are seldom acceptable. So check with the journal. Check with the journal editors if you want to use question mark. Do they allow that? Because it's seldom acceptable in this case. Okay, so that's the title part. Next one is the abstract part. So abstract will be available in electronic abstracting and indexing services, for instance, like in Scopus, in PubMed, and so on. Now, your abstract, treat this as an advertisement for your article. So you need to make it interesting and easy to be understood without reading the whole article. once I read that one paragraph of your abstract, I need to really understand what's the point of this particular research article. Yeah, so it needs to be accurate, specific, yeah, clear, and brief. Yeah, for abstract structure, you can see you can benchmark your abstract based on previous articles published in that journal. Yeah, and based on that, you will have an idea on how you can make your abstract. Yeah. Okay. Some journals, they would give you our abstract structure. Yeah. So take a look at the journal. Yeah. Sometimes they will give you an abstract structure. What will be required, yeah, in your abstract? Yeah. What sentence will be required? How long you should make it? Yeah. Some will give you that pointers. Okay. Next one is the introduction part. So this is when you provide context, yeah, to convince readers that you really know, yeah, why your work is useful. Yeah, you provide the novelty, you provide the significance of your research, yeah, the urgency, why this research needs to be conducted. Yeah, the introduction part needs to be brief. So usually we will see like only maybe one page or even less than that for the introduction part. Yeah. However, even though it's very brief, but you need to address these 4 points. Yeah. The first one is the problem, the aims, the hypothesis, and the significance of your work. Yeah. So mention the exact problems that you are addressing. You know, how then this research will try to solve or try to answer this problem, and why then your research is significant to answer that problem. Yeah. If you have your hypothesis, you can also put that in this part. Yeah. And then the next part is what was done before. Yeah. So for this point, you need to provide literature, cite various original and important works related to your research. Yeah. Include, if possible, yeah, some review articles. Yeah. And editors, yeah, they hate usually many references that are not relevant to the work that you are doing. Yeah, and of course after that you need to provide what informations about what did you do and what did you achieve. Yeah, and of course try to be consistent with the nature of the journal, meaning that if they also provide you with some sort of a template, yeah, or some sort of a guide on how to make the introduction part based on the editor of the journal, then please follow that structure. Yeah, but even though the structures might be different between one journal to the other, usually they will have these 4 common points to be put in your introduction part. Yeah, okay. Next one, we have the methods part. Yeah, again, methods could be purely just methods, or could be methods plus experiment. Yeah, or it can be methods and material. Yeah, it depends on your subject area. So it should describe, yeah, how you studied the problem. So in this case, yeah, this is when you provide information regarding how you start your research journey. Yeah, so this is a narrative on how you start your research journey. Yeah, if it's an experiment, then how you start your experiment. Yeah, if you require certain materials for your lab works, then what sort of materials, yeah, how you require these materials and how you use these materials for your experiments. Yeah, so treat this part as a part where you explain when you describe the process of you doing your research from the beginning until the end. Yeah, it needs to be quite detailed. Yeah, and you have to make sure that if you have like a computational, theoretical, any code, any formula, any analytic methods, yeah, you need to describe all of this in your methods part. Yeah, and then if you are doing an experiment, yeah, on humans or animals, yeah, then you must follow ethics standard. Yeah, so this ethics standard will of course be different, yeah, between one subject to another subject. Yeah, and then if you do require approval, yeah, for this ethical standard, then please make sure that the approval should be specified in your manuscript, yeah, or in your cover letter, or in the online submission system. Yeah, sometimes editor will ask you, okay, you've done experiment on animal for this particular research, that's okay as long as you have permission from ethics ethics board for this case. So please do provide that. In that case, you can provide that either in the manuscript, in your cover letter, or depends on the journal. Sometimes they will give you they will give like a link for you to submit this ethical standard. Okay, so that's the method part. The next one is the result. When we talk about result, we are not doing any analysis in this part. This is just a part when where we describe the important results of your research. So in this part, you can also create illustration, figures, tables, to efficiently present your results. Sometimes I got questions on how should I efficiently present my result, because my research results can be like 20, 30 pages alone. So to answer that questions, then please do use figures. Please use tables. To make sure that you can efficiently present this result. So present your data. Because that is the driving force of your paper. But please make sure when you present your data, only use essential data. If you, let's say, actually have 10 tables, for instance, maybe you don't have to provide, maybe you don't have to show all of these 10 tables in your manuscript, but some of them you can put it in the supplementary data part. So data of secondary importance, they should be put in the supporting or supplementary materials only. So you can use a legend or of a figure that should be brief. You can also use subheadings if you think that your results, there are 3 parts of or 4 parts of your result, then you can use subheadings. That's also possible. You can use numbers for the subsections. You can highlight the findings. And above all, your results should be clear and easy to understand. Okay. Next one is the discussion part. Remember, result is a part when in which we just describe our result. We don't have to put any analysis, any discussion. So after we finish with the result part, we describe everything clearly. Next, we move to the discussion part. This is where we actually sell our data. How to sell our data is by providing in-depth analysis. What's the meaning of your data? Please make sure that this is where you really put a lot of effort into thinking how you should sell this data. How you should explain what it means for science, what it means to what this data means to answer your research questions in the beginning. So this is a very important part, because a huge number of manuscripts, they usually get rejected because the discussion is way too shallow, for instance. Or when we talk about discussion, it's actually not a discussion, but just description of data. That's also not something that we want to see in the discussion part. So again, discussion is not description of your data. You need to be thoughtful in analyzing what your data means. In this case, of course, you can compare with some theories, you can compare with previous research. There's so many ways you can analyze your data. So make sure the discussion, they do correspond, complement the result. You don't need to repeat the result, or you don't need to describe your data in this part. Now, how again to analyze or to provide the discussion? Over here on the 4th points, you can see the best practice would be to compare other published results with your own. And you can also compare your research result with work that is actually in disagreement with yours. So if you find research articles, other research articles that conducted similar study, but they have disagreement with your result, then that would be okay. You can put that as part of your discussion and see why the discussions could be different. Maybe there's a difference in context. Maybe there's a difference in the method. Maybe there's a difference in the way the experiments is conducted, or there is a difference in the materials, yeah, and so on. So of course, yeah, we need to have backup arguments using research articles in which the result is in disagreement with, it's in agreement with ours, yeah. But at the same time, please do not ignore those work that actually in disagreement with yours, yeah. So if you have numbers, so please make sure you use quantitative description, yeah, not non-specific expression such as higher temperature or at a lower rate. So it needs to be precise if you have numbers, yeah. So make sure that your message, yeah, is complete before you start writing or submit your article. Yeah, so I would suggest, yeah, to make like a mind map first before you start writing this part, yeah. So do not go beyond what the result can support. Yeah, do not introduce new terms, yeah. Do not speculate on possible interpretation that are based on imagination. Yeah, you have to root everything in fact. Yeah, so there is no assumption, there is no emotional sentence or pure assumption on things that could happen next based on your research data. Yeah, so base everything not on imagination, but just base it on fact. Yeah. Okay, so the conclusion part, this is when you show, yeah, how your works actually advance the field of study. Remember, our works needs to provide some sort of significance to the advancement of our field of study. Yeah, if you're doing a research in economy, then make sure that your work somehow advance the field of economy. If you're doing this for education, that the same case apply. If you do this for, let's say, engineering, the same case apply. Yeah, please make sure that in conclusion part, you show that based on my research, I actually contribute, yeah, to blah, 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 blah in the area of, let's say, engineering or economy and so on. Yeah, so please, you have to have that sentence, strong sentence to show that this is a significant research. I contribute to the advancement of my field. Yeah, and then please be clear. Yeah, because this helps reviewers and editors to actually judge your work. Yeah, and specifically the impact. Yeah, suggest future experiments or future research that can be built upon your work, and point out any relevant experiments that may already be underway. So if you know that there are other authors, other researchers that also conducted quite similar experiments, you can even pinpoint that experiments as well. It gives the next researchers an idea, for their continuing research in this particular field. Okay. Next, we have references. This is where we cite our main scientific publication. Yeah. Please do not include too many references, only those that really relate to your research. Yeah, it's not the battle of how many references that you use. Yeah, it's about using only relevant references. Yeah, ensure that you fully absorb and understood the material that you are referencing. Please do not just reference something or cite something based on isolated sentences. So, for instance, you read one research article and you found out that, oh, there's one sentence in that article that is very useful for my research, but you don't actually understand what the rest of the article is about. But just because of that one sentence, you copy it and you paraphrase it, you paste it, and you then provide in-text citation as if you really understand what the research is about. Yeah, so that's something that high quality journals will not want you to be doing. Yeah, and avoid excessive self-citation. Yeah, or from a single region or institute. Yeah, so if you have published before, you want to cite yourself, that's fine, but please make sure that it's not excessive. Yeah, or you only cite from a single region or institute. Yeah, if you only cite from a single region or single institute, yeah, then there is a potential that your research might not be impactful globally. Yeah, so we want to, if you want to publish in these high quality journals, they also want your research to impact not just in your institution, not just for one single country, but if possible, to wider communities. Yeah. And then, of course, you need to check guide for authors in journal to ensure the proper format. Like, for instance, whether they are using APA format, yeah, or maybe Harvard format, MLA format, and so many other formats out there. So please just make sure you check the guide for authors, how you can use, which format you're supposed to use. Okay, next part we have acknowledgement. We need to acknowledge those that help us with our research. Yeah, in this part we can acknowledge maybe your advisors. So if you are students, you can acknowledge your advisors. If you have financial supporters, please do acknowledge them. Proofreaders, if you are using proofreader service, yeah, or even suppliers who may have given you materials for your experiment. Yeah, this is also a party that you can actually acknowledge. Yeah. Okay, the next one we have cover letter. So after you finish with your research manuscript, yeah, from the introductions until the reference part, right now most journals, they also ask you to create cover letter. Yeah, so cover letter, treat this as with the same function as cover letter in which you want to apply for a job. Yeah, so in this case, you're not applying for a job, but you're applying to be published in a journal. So please make sure that your cover letter, you also take this seriously, because this is a chance for you, yeah, to convince the editor to accept your work. Yeah. So again, this is a chance, this is an opportunity for you to convince the editors to accept your paper. Yeah. So a good cover letter will consist of three main content. Yeah, so the first one is good cover letter will outline the main theme of the paper. It will also argue the novelty of your paper and also justifies the relevance of the manuscript to the target journal. Yeah, so the first one, again, it outlines all of the topics, all of the theme, yeah, in your paper. Second, you must provide the novelty and also, if possible, the significance of your paper. Yeah, and third, this is where a lot of people miss this part. You need to justify why your research should be published by that particular journal. Why you are targeting this journal? Yeah, if you are targeting journal ABC, why journal ABC? Why not target other journals? Yeah, so this is something that needs to be put, yeah, in your cover letter. Yeah, and please do not copy and paste your abstract, because sometimes when people ask me, can I just use my abstract for my cover letter? Well, because the main point's already in my abstract. Well, that's true. Yes, the main point's already in your abstract. Yes, but do not copy paste your abstract to your cover letter, because they serve different purpose. Yeah, cover letter purpose is the letter to editor. Meanwhile, abstract purpose is as advertisement, yeah, for your future readers. Yeah. Okay. Next one, for cover letter, again, this is a chance to speak to the editor directly. You need to submit your cover letter along with your manuscript. Yeah. So when you submit your paper, some journals will ask you, do submit cover paper along with your manuscript. Yeah. Mention what will make your manuscript special to the journal. That's the part that I discussed before. And also note special requirements. So for instance, some journal will ask you to provide name of reviewers who you want to be your reviewers. Yeah. In this case, you can put that in the cover letter part. Yeah. Or if you could possibly have conflict of interest. Yeah. So please, or statement that you do not have any conflict of interest, put that in your cover letter as well. Yeah. Conflict of interest usually happen if, let's say, you are working for an organization and you are conducting a research on that particular organization. Yeah, there could be a possibility that there is a conflict of interest that can happen. Yeah, this mostly happen for private or private organization. Yeah, not really for academic, because academic stance should be neutral. Yeah, but for private organization, if they publish something and it's about their organization, then they should provide conflicts of interest statement. Okay, the last part of writing is to use, of course, proper manuscript language. Yeah, in this case, I believe as Filipinos, you have a very good English, so this should not be a problem. But just be just pay attention to common errors such as sentence construction, incorrect tenses, inaccurate grammar, and mixing languages. Yeah. So please make sure that if possible, you can even use a language editing service if you think that you require one. Yeah. Okay. So that's the part, the writing part, that needs to be pay attention. Yeah, the best practices in writing your research paper. Okay. So I'm going to continue to the next part. You have seen there now 80 questions in the Q&A. Okay, thank you. Yeah, please you can post more questions, and later on we will have time for this. But just a announcement, I don't think we can finish by exact time. Yeah, so I think the webinar will have to be a little bit longer than that. Yeah, very sorry for that. Yeah, but if you have other schedule appointment, yeah, feel free if you really need to leave this webinar a bit on time. Yeah, feel free to do that because we will still send this the webinar recorded session to your emails. Yeah, but if you can still stay in this webinar, thank you so much. Yeah, because I don't think that we can finish on time. We might need another 30 minutes. Yeah, to finish this session. Okay, so again, we'll continue. Yeah, to the next part. Now, we already covered how to write, yeah, some best practices to write. Now, best practices to publish, yeah, publish your research paper. When we talk about publishing your research paper, it means that the manuscript is done. Yeah, you have the manuscript ready, you have the cover letter ready, yeah, you already check and double check your manuscript language, yeah, and you are ready to publish. Now, the question is how to publish this paper. Yeah, I've seen some questions in the Q&A. How, as students, for instance, I can start publishing my research paper because this is my first time. Yeah, my manuscript is ready, so the next phase will be publishing it. But how to do that? Yeah, so that's what we will cover in this section. Okay, so first and foremost, yeah, when we're talking about publishing your research paper, yeah, we need every single paper that will be published need to go through peer review process. Yeah, so when we want to publish to a journal, yeah, we have to go through what we call as peer review process. So this process is a formal scientific communications process that appeared more than 300 years ago. Yeah, and this is a standard practice, yeah, that many that I believe that majority of research community believe that this is the best form of scientific evaluation. Yeah, which means that once you select a journal, I want to publish in journal ABC, for instance. Yeah, you submit your research manuscript. Yeah, go to that journal, find out how to publish. Yeah, and then click on the submit your article part. Yeah, publish there, and then you will have to go through the peer review process. Now, what will happen in the peer review process is that the first thing first, after you finish selecting the journal, yeah, you submit your research manuscript. Then this whole process will start. Yeah, this whole process will start. It will start first, yeah, by your manuscript will be checked by the journal editor to see whether you met all the requirements. Yeah, mostly technical requirements. Yeah, technical requirements such as, let's say, are you following the guide for authors? Are you using proper language? Are you, for instance, already submit your cover letter and so on. Yeah, so they will first check the technical requirements. After that, if they think that this is no good, yeah, they will give it back to you. But if they think, if they check everything and they see that it fits, yeah, with all of the criteria needed, then they will process your paper. Yeah, they will process your paper. When they process your paper, yeah, they will see whether it's worthy of consideration to reviewers. Yeah, so the editor will then see if it's okay, if it's good to go, then they will give your paper to a reviewer. Yeah, and then the reviewer, the expert, yeah, in your case, yeah, will then of course evaluate your paper, and then after that they will give some feedback. Yeah, now this feedback needs to be addressed by the author. You need to do some revision, and based on that, you have to give it back again to the reviewers. Yeah, so there will be an ongoing communication between the reviewers and also the authors. Yeah? Once the reviewers and authors agree, yeah, that this paper is ready to be published, then reviewers, authors, and editors will know about this, and the editors will then process your paper to be published in the next volume. Yeah, when it's published in the next volume, it depends when it will be published. It depends on when the next volume will be published. Yeah, so let's say if my paper already get accepted in April, but the next volume will be July, then you have to wait until July for your paper to be published. Yeah, so that's the common process that happens in the peer review process. Yeah, every single manuscript, research manuscript will have to go through this peer review process. And high quality journals usually they will have a very thorough peer review process. Yeah. Okay. So a good manuscript, that's ready to be published, not based on the content, but based on the technical requirements. Good manuscript that's ready to be published must fulfill these three criteria outside of the content. Yeah, we cover the content already, but for the other parts, other technical parts, we need to check whether our manuscript already fulfill these three criteria. The first one is that your manuscript needs to be in scope with the candidate journal. Yeah, in scope means that you need to make sure that your manuscript fulfill the it match with the aim and scope of the journal. Yeah, and then it's part of the accepted types of articles by the journal. Yeah, it match with the readership, and then it also match with the current hot topics. Yeah. Next, we also see that a good manuscript needs to fulfill publication ethics. Yeah. In this case, it avoids plagiarism, multiple publication, citing, acknowledging other people's contribution, and then a list of co-authors. And last but not least, it needs to follow guide for authors that available for every journals. Now we'll see one by one, these three criteria. Yeah, so please do later on check your manuscript whether it already fulfilled these three criteria. Okay. Okay. So this is the deep dive for the three criteria that need to be fulfilled: the scope, the publication ethics, and also the guide for authors. Okay, so we'll see the scope first, and then go to ethics and last publication. Guide for authors. Okay, so the deep dive, we start with the aim and scope. When we make our research paper, we need when we want to publish it. Please do check the aim and scope of the journal. Usually every journal will provide you with a very clear aim and scope. Aim and scope section. For instance, over here, I picked this as an example. This is a journal by Elsevier, Journal of Cleaner Production. In the website of this journal, when you type the name of the journal, you will see that they provide you with the aim and scope. Now read this part and check whether your manuscript actually fulfill the aim and scope required by this journal. Do not just assume based on the name. The name of the journal is Journal of Cleaner Production, but do not just assume that, because the name is Cleaner Production, maybe this journal is about climate change, maybe. We can assume that, but if you want to be sure, do check the aim and scope. Because over here, even though the name itself sounds like this is a journal specifically about, let's say, climate change, but if you read the aim and scope, this journal actually will want to find articles that publish in, let's say, sustainable products and services, and also publish in corporate sustainability and corporate social responsibility. So again, please do check the aim and scope, read, and if you are doing, let's say, a research in corporate sustainability, there is nothing wrong in publishing with this particular journal. So please do not assume based on the name alone. What if my research is not fulfilling the aim and scope of the journal? Then find another one, because immediately after you submit your article, if your article does not match with the aim and scope, then forget about being published in that particular journal. So please really make sure that it fulfills this criteria. Second is the type of articles. Now, when we make research articles, yeah, there are many types of these articles. Yeah, the most common one will be original research paper, yeah, or original research articles in which we conduct primary research. Yeah, we conducted experiments, we provide in-depth analysis and so on. That's original research paper. But beside that, there are actually other types of research manuscript. Yeah, the other types include, yeah, for instance, like review articles, yeah, technical note, conference report, yeah, book reviews, yeah, letters to the editors. Yeah, so based on this, yeah, based on the types of articles, do check the journals whether these journals accept, for instance, review articles, or if I join a conference and I want to make a conference report, yeah, can I also provide that? Yeah. Yes, you can do that. You can write about that. Yeah, but you need before you publish. Yeah, please do check whether certain types of paper will be accepted by journals. Yeah. Okay. Next one. Yeah, this is the common types. Yeah, the research article, the review papers, and also short communication. Yeah. The next one, we need to check the readership of our selected targeted journals. Yeah, for readership in Elsevier, we provide this information right here. Yeah, you can use this link, journalfinder.elsevier.com. Find the journal, find the targeted journal, and check the readership countries. Yeah, in this case, this example right here, a Journal of Cleaner Production, the readership countries mostly from Canada, from Great Britain, and then from the US. So if you are doing, let's say, a collaboration between Philippines and also researchers from the US, then there is also, of course, a high possibility that your research manuscript can be accepted by this paper, because most readers for this journal coming from US, for instance. Yeah, so do check about the readership, even though this will not be the main concern, but this will still be part of the concern from editors. Yeah. The next one, we can also check the authorship. Yeah, we have this link right here, journalinsights.elsevier.com. Yeah, and then you can find journals right here, and then from this website you can search for authors. Yeah, authorship of the journals. Yeah, in this case, yeah, you can see in Journal of Cleaner Production, most are coming from China, but beside China, Philippines also quite high. Yeah, in the middle. Yeah, rank 57 out of 130, meaning that yeah, you can see a contribution from other Filipinos. Yeah, that contributes to this particular journal. Yeah, and based on this, yeah, maybe you can search for authors that already published in these journals, do some collaboration with them, or you can search for authors from different countries, yeah, and do collaborations by take a look first at this map right here. Yeah, in Elsevier we provide this map, yeah, that will be very useful for preparing your research manuscript to be published. Next, yeah, we can also see topics. Yeah, hot topics, trending topics, yeah, published by particular journal. And to do this, yeah, to know about this information, just go to the website of the journal and then read this part. Yeah, there are many parts available in this journal, including most downloaded articles, recent articles, most cited, and also open access articles. Now, based on this, we can easily get an idea about the trend or about what types of articles that will be published, that will be accepted and published by this journal. Yeah, it will give us a very clear idea. And there's even recommendations, yeah, that from editors that you can actually find ideas by reading these articles from journals that you are targeting. Yeah, so take a look at the most downloaded, recent, most cited, and from that, read the articles, and from you can get the idea of what sort of articles that will be published. Yeah. Okay. The next part in publication, we need to make sure that we follow publication ethics. Yeah. When we're dealing with publication ethics, there are 6 parts. yeah, that we need to make sure that we follow. If we don't follow this publication ethics, then what will happen is our manuscript that we want to be published could easily get rejected, or if it's a severe publication there is a severe violation, yeah, in publication ethics, then there's even a possibility that it will your name, yeah, will be blacklisted by the journals. That's also very possible if that if you not following or you're breaking the publication ethics in a for severe case. Yeah. So there are 6 publication ethics regarding authorship, competing interests, plagiarism, simultaneous submission, research fraud, and also salami slicing. So let's take a look. The first one is about authorship. Yeah. So for authorship, if you are conducting or writing research paper alone, then this should not be a problem. Yeah. It's just put down your name, your institution, and that's it. Yeah. So you don't have to have any concern about this part. Yeah. This part will be crucial when you are writing research paper with your co-authors. Yeah. So when you're writing with co-authors, then there is an ethical procedure right here regarding the naming of authors. Yeah. Now, naming of authors is very critical because, yeah, when you put name in your research paper, it means that this individual, this name will get credit. Yeah, not just get credit, but they will also be accountable for the research. Yeah, so they'll get credit plus they will be accountable for the research. Now, if you deliberately misrepresenting a scientist's relationship to the work, it's a serious misconduct. Yeah, so there are 4 criteria that must be met to be credited as an author. Yeah, the first one is the author must provide substantial contribution to the study. Yeah, it could be the study conception, it could be the design, it could be the data acquisition, analysis, and also interpretation part. Yeah, the author needs to have a say in the drafting and also revising of the article. Yeah, the authors and the co-authors, yeah, they need to approve the final version of your article, of this going to be published article, and they must agree to be accountable for all aspects of the work related to the accuracy and integrity, yeah, or integrity and any part of the work. Yeah. In this case, what we are saying is that don't just put a name of someone, yeah, just because you don't, just because he or she is your friend, for instance, or your colleague that you want to help your colleague, and then you put his or her name as co-authors. Because if the editors knows about this, then it will be a serious violation. Yeah, it's not fair. It's actually a lie. Yeah, and if something happened with the content of your research manuscript, yeah, that's published out there, yeah, then the co-authors, yeah, that you put in your paper will be responsible for that as well. So if something wrong happened with that research manuscript, it will actually impact your co-authors as well. Your co-authors have to be responsible. Yep. Okay. Next, for the authorship issues, yeah, some issues that usually happen. First, misrepresenting a scientist's relationship to their work. Yeah, so in this case, you list name of people who took little or no part at all for the research. Yeah, or you omit names of people who actually did take part. Yeah, or you submit manuscript without the permission of an author or contributor. Yeah, you just submit your manuscript without the co-author approval, for instance. Yeah. Next, we have ghost authorship, professional writers, paid writers whose role is not acknowledged. Yeah, so it can also be unattributed contributions of data analysis, and gift and guest authorship. Now, this is quite weird, yeah, but this is happening in some parts of the world. Authorship based on tenuous affiliation with the study or solely on expectation that inclusion of a particular name will improve the chances that the study will be published. So for instance, the author thinks that, oh, because I'm just a student, if I put my professor name, then my research will be published, will definitely be published. that is called as give and guess authorship. Yeah, or oh, I know this person is very famous in the Philippines, so if I put his or her name in my paper, is very famous in my institution, then my chance to get published will be higher. That is considered as a serious ethical violation, yeah, because that is not that is part of this give and guess authorship case. Yeah. Okay. The next one is competing interests. Yeah, competing interests happen when, as a writer, yeah, you have competing interests. Yeah, usually in terms of financial relationship that you have, it can be direct or indirect. With direct means that you're actually being employed by a certain organization. You have stocks. Yeah, you have grants or patents. Or indirect could be honoraria. Yeah, you are actually a consultant. Yeah, for that for that organization. Yeah, you have mutual fund ownership. Or you're actually paid expert. Yeah, that conduct a research on a certain organization. Yeah, so based on this, that will consider to be competing interests. Okay, we have all of this information available. Yeah, so competing interest will be undisclosed relationship that may pose competing interest. Why is it unethical? And if that is the case, it does not mean that you cannot publish your research paper at all, but there are some pointers on what you should do if that things happen. Yeah, so you have to state explicitly if there is a potential competing interest in this case. Yeah, okay. Also, sometimes if it's funding source, yeah, if the problem is not because you are employed by an organization, but the problem is funding source, then you need to have a declaration, yeah, statement to declare the role of the funding source. Yeah. Okay. Next one is plagiarism. I think this one is quite common. Yeah, for every research manuscript, we need to check the plagiarism level. And plagiarism is not just plagiarizing the sentence. Yeah, it's not just copy pasting sentences, but plagiarism can also take other forms. For instance, plagiarism in words, yeah, or language. Plagiarism in ideas, for instance, yeah. Plagiarism in findings, writing, graphic representations, yeah, and so many other types of plagiarisms. Yeah. Okay. So plagiarism, yeah, some of the actions, including literal copying, this is very unethical, yeah, and substantial copying. Yeah, you take some parts. Yeah, it is also considered to be plagiarism. Yeah. Okay. Other things, paraphrasing without in-text citation also considered to be plagiarism. So please make sure that if you paraphrase someone's work, it's okay, but please make sure that you put in-text citation. Yeah. Text recycling. Now, text recycling happens when you use your own work, your previous work, yeah, you copy paste some part of your previous work, yeah, to the new research paper. Yeah, that will still be considered as self-plagiarism. Yeah, so in that case, it's also unethical. Okay. Next one, we have simultaneous submission. Simultaneous submission happens when a person, they submit a paper, just one paper, yeah, to different journals at the same time. Yeah, so again, one research manuscript being published, being submitted, yeah, for a publication to more than one journal at the same time. Yeah, the reason why this is very crucial, yeah, not to be conducted is that editors, reviewers of journals, they will put a lot of time, they will put a lot of energy to really read through your papers, yeah, really make sure that this is at the highest quality possible. So if you submit to multiple journals at the same time, it means that you are wasting everybody's time, yeah, to go through your research paper to provide the best possible comments, opinions that they can provide you with. Yeah, so please don't do simultaneous submission. Yeah. Okay. Next, research fraud. Yeah, there are two kinds of research fraud. Yeah, the first one is fabrication. It happens when you make up research data and result and then you record and report them. Yeah, so this is making up research data and results. Second, we have falsification. Falsification happens when the researchers, they manipulate research materials, images, data, equipment, or processes. Yeah, if both of this happens, then I can assure you that if your editors knows about this, then this is a very serious offense, yeah, to scientific knowledge. Yeah, you cannot do fabrication and falsification. Okay, the last part is called salami slicing. So this is interesting. Yeah, what is salami slicing? Now, let's say you produce one research manuscript. Yeah, and this research manuscript is quite long. It's quite lengthy. Yeah, because this is quite a big research. Yeah. Now, with this one manuscript that you have, yeah, maybe you think, why not I publish 2 or 3 manuscripts? Yeah, why not rather than publishing just one, I can actually separate my one research paper into 3 research papers, and then I publish them one by one. Yeah, that is called salami slicing, and it is actually unethical. Yeah, the reason why salami slicing is prohibited, it's unethical. First, yeah, we have 3 points right here. The first one is it can actually create distortion in the literature. Yeah, your readers will think that this research is already complete. Yeah, even though you know exactly that research is not complete at all. I have 2 other parts which not yet published. Yeah, so remember, we are not creating a novel. Yeah, we are not creating we're not creating like an episode, yeah, of our research result. Yeah, so please make sure that you don't do this. Yeah, it will lead readers to think that this is the final version of the total of your research. Yeah, and it also create a repetition, waste readers' time, waste editors' time. Yeah, and it actually unfairly inflates the author citation records. Yeah. So this is an unfair practice that will result in rejection of your paper. Yep. Okay. So that's yeah. That's for my explanations. Yeah. Regarding how you can publish your research manuscript. Yeah. So just quickly 3 things. Yeah. Once your paper ready. Yeah. Once your paper ready, make sure that you follow these 3 criteria right here. Yeah. The scope needs to be addressed, yeah, the publication ethics. But for the guide for authors, I'm not covering this one, because for guide for authors, you can easily find this in your journals, yeah, in journals that you are targeting to. Yeah, so for guide for authors, usually you will have some informations about the layout of the paper, maybe. Yeah, even some journals will provide you with the font that you need to use. Yeah. The font size, the margin, the spacing, and everything. Yeah, so that's the guide for authors. But overall, after you have your manuscript ready, then please make sure you're following these 3 criteria: the scope, publication ethics, and guide for authors. Yeah, so that's the best practices for publishing your research paper. Yeah, we cover both already: writing, best practices to write, and also for publishing. Yeah, hopefully this provides you with insights, yeah, on your next research project. Yeah, and good luck for that. Yeah. Okay, now we're moving to the Q&A section. Okay, for the Q&A, we have 131 questions. Okay, wow, 132 now. Wow, this is amazing. Well, first and foremost, of course, we cannot answer everything. Yeah, so we'll pick and choose, yeah, some of these questions. And sorry if your questions might not be answered right now, because we do have limitations in our time. Yeah. Okay. So for this one, Pio, you want to take lead on moderating?
Hi, Johan. Yeah. I guess there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of people thanking us. I mean, the participants went all the way up to around 4,300 or 4,400.
Yeah.
So I guess, let's try to get maybe 5 to 6 questions, and then let's go to the closing remarks after that. But let me try to get some questions that we have right now. So maybe the first question that I have is that it's from Sir Emel de Lima. Is there a public link where we can find, a list of the so-called predatory journals? I know predatory journals is a big thing. But is there a list that we can go to, or any journals that are under investigation that is advised, let's say, by Elsevier or whoever it is? And currently, we need to send an email if the journal is under investigation. Do you have any idea on this, or